Good morning. I'm on my way down south to put in a new power beam horn to one of our repeater towers. It appears that it's died. So this is two that have died on me. One was at Rock and Roll and this one is at Komatsu. Now, something that's common between those two is that they are both north facing, so they could be getting a fair bit of heat on them from the sun, as they have both died within, the same sort of time period. There's also the potential that there's lightning that's taken them out, but all the other electronics are fine. So the other ones to watch that are north facing would be North Packhorse, and Rumby. Yeah, those three. And if they die eventually after a certain amount of hours, because Komatsu has been going for a long time and so has Rock and Roll. So I'm on my way down to replace those two units, and Danny is doing a lawns, rubbish, and tidy up at the homestead area. So today is just a bit of R&M, get it all up and running for the weekend because it's Friday, and make sure that we're covered off for the next couple of days. And then we're going to go into some fabrication work for building more of the Taj units, the quick deployment style wireless monitoring points, and Danny and I will start getting those out, and we've got a couple of brand new repeater towers to put up. But as we've been going through a couple of consumables, well, for want of a better word, I'll have to do a quick stock take today and then do a bit of reordering so that we've got everything ready to go. And with that, we're going to do a couple of episodes on how we're building the boxes, as in what's in the box, the design of the network, and then a little bit of the configuration work so that you can follow along and we can spread the knowledge. And if you want to homebrew your solution, you can. But if you want to purchase an off-the-shelf solution, it also gives you a little bit of background and understanding of what goes into these units if you've purchased one, so that you can do diagnostics yourself. And that means that you're going to get the most out of a service support phone call. So we hope that will be of use to you. And yeah, let's get underway. So here I am at Komatsu Tower. It's called Komatsu Tower because I'd originally put this track in, or the bottom part of this track in, with the Komatsu loader when they're doing some gold exploration. Now, for all of those that are thinking, yeah, cool, gold, it was detected 180 meters down. There's nothing shallower than that. So while they were at it, they hit a lot of fresh water, and that's how we got the new 2-up bore. So this is called a power beam horn, or radio horn. So it's a fixed wireless radio horn. So it operates in the actual 5 gigahertz, not 5G range. So it appears that this unit here, which is facing towards the north, is the one that has failed. It's intermittently coming on and off. Last week, Danny and I changed the power supply and it changed nothing. We did a factory reset and it came on, but it was still intermittent. So I'm going to pop up, switch this unit over, and then just do a quick reconfiguration. Now, while I've got the opportunity to have two hands on the job, I'm just going to quickly demonstrate how this works. What we've got is a back part of this unit, which is connected through the dish. This unit here, we can actually just pull. Oh, she's not playing the game today. Now we've got it free and clear. That is an Ethernet port or a power over Ethernet port. This connects in, goes down to the switch inside the box, provides power and communications through that. So I just need to go up, pull this unit out, shove the new one in, and reconnect it. As we've only changed the radio horn itself, the alignment should all be perfect. So I just need to log into the radio's local wireless and set up the configuration to join the network. So this is done just on my phone and by logging into the UISP, which is Ubiquiti Internet Service Provider app. So I go into UISP and it's found the new unit's wireless. And I just put in the default password, UBNT, and log in. And I'll connect it to the temporary wireless. And it will ask me to configure it as it's a new device. Now, some of these have been a pain. So we'll see if the auto configuration works. Device setup failed. So what we do is we set it up and we'll set it up manually. And it's remembered the password that we put in before. Manual setup. Now, the SSID, we want to go to Dusty to Komatsu. So we click that, and it's at 5555. We put in our password. So we've put our password in, and we said OK. Now we're underway, and it's processing the configuration change. So what that is doing is setting up the country, the power settings, and then also setting it up to log into that network. So it's just like a normal Wi-Fi network, and you just put in your network ID and the password. Now, if you're configuring these as multiple points, don't use the same network name or SSID for the same station area, because the unit will try to connect to any wireless network that has that password. So use individual names for different links and try to keep them unique across the property. So our capacity is 20 meg per second and an 87 meg per second upload. And it appears we've got nothing uploading at the moment. All right, so I'm just going to go into my unit settings itself. And you should change your password over to what you're using as your management password. Other than that, the unit's up and running. I'm just waiting to see what throughput and capacity we actually have. So we've got a capacity that's wicked, but actual throughput is pretty low at the moment. So let's find out why that's happening. What we're going to do is just do a quick reboot after doing all those configurations. We'll see it come onto the network, and then we'll do some cable checking. Okay, so we've got activity on the network. Quick little reboot was good. So now what I'm going to do is disconnect from the unit, and I'm going to check if we've got connectivity all the way down throughout the network. So if I have to go check another tower and do a health check on that, but I can do that remotely by jumping onto the vehicle's Wi-Fi and waiting for that one to connect. So I'll disappear for a minute and I'll come back. Okay, so we're connected on the Starlink network, and that's because I don't have a local Wi-Fi at this tower. There's no need for it, and we're not running a LoRa off this point. So we jump into Unify Protect, we reboot the app, and then we can connect through the Starlink to Starlink connection that we have. So it goes from our Starlink up through the internet back down to the Starlink at home, and we can check our water points. So we will go and look for someone who's south of here or coming off this tower. So we should have 2 up, which we've got. Then we'll have finders keepers, 1 down, and then Sweetwater is playing up at the moment. So I can slip down to Sweetwater and we'll have a look at what's going on there. But Sweetwater's been having a few power issues lately, and that's the network switch. So before I head down there, I will check my box of tricks and see if I've got a 24 volt converter in there. If I do, we're happy and we're away. So that tower's back up and running, and we'll find out over the next couple of days how stable it is. But given the last time the unit was running, she went for, almost a year, we should be half alright. Now the cost of replacing that is quite minimal, like $280. And that's the only unit in this link that's failed. So you work that out over $365. It's less than $1 a day to monitor 1, 2, 3, 4 water points on the bottom here. So while we're at it, I'm going to go over to Warren's and see what's going on there. Cool. Time to slip down the road. All right, Warren's. Looks like our anti-camel bar's been knocked down by something. Probably a camel. Well, that's the first bit done. The cows will go under that fine, but also that will not have prevented them from getting in, because on the other side of the yards, there's another gate. Now, let's have a look at why. And it's pretty obvious. It looks like they've chewed through the power cable. I'm just going to pop the box open and have a good look in there. It looks like we've ended up with water or a spark in here. It's a weatherproof box. So I've got a cable here to replace. So I'm going to replace that cable, and I'll grab another nano switch. All right. Nano switch is powered up. Plugged in the wireless radio, and I've plugged in the local Wi-Fi. And that's all powering up. Now, I haven't set this one up on a long range or anything. What I could do, I'll bring the ladder down, put my nano switch upstairs there, and then put the Wi-Fi up there, which would give us better coverage around here. But the local Wi-Fi is not always the priority. But with that dead nano switch, well, it's a quick and easy replacement. So what I'm going to do is open up my Wi-Fi settings, and we'll see if the Prenti network shows up once the unit's logged onto the network. And so by unit, I'm referring to the wireless radio, which is the light beam up the top. There we are, connected onto the network, or connecting. Now, sometimes because the light beam is a slower, older unit, it's a Gen 1, it can take it a bit longer to connect to the network. Like there, it's just failed. And the AC mesh was able to turn the network as joinable sooner. But now we're back on, so we can open up our Unify Protect, and we should see warrants on there. There we go. So here's our warrants. I'm just going to go for a walk out there. All right, and I'm going to wave my hand, and it looks like we've got a couple of seconds lag, but that's my phone going back to the homestead and then beaming back out. So Warren's is back online. It was just a nano switch that had fried. All right, we're back on the net, and we can shut this with its tactical stick. All right, he's locked up and away. See if we can see that. A little bit of damage in there. You see a little bit of looks like corrosion on it and a splatter. So I'm not 100% on that, but a little frustrating. But these little things are useful, so that's gone onto the reorder list. Track down some more of them if I can. Right, heat's going to go on the back of the ute because that's rubbish. I don't want to put it back in here because if I put it in there, I won't remember that it's a broken one, and I'll end up pulling it out to try and fix something. And then get annoyed at myself. All right, that's 2 water points. Well, not 2 water points, it's a whole stack of water points back on the net. So, pretty happy with that. Let's go down to Sweetwater and have a quick glance at that. Okay, so I'm down here at Sweetwater, and it appears that I've got a bit of a power cycle issue on this unit, like the network switches overheating, shutting down, rebooting. So a hard reset on it, so fully pulling the solar panel out and disconnecting the battery, and then reconnecting the battery and reconnecting the solar has worked. But this is a little annoying. It's happening every couple of weeks that it's, having a cycle issue. I've got the equipment here to convert it over to a 48 volt and 24 system using a nano switch and a flex switch utility. So this isn't the full version of how to get it running, but this is a light version. Now, there's another unit that I want to try out, which is an indoor-outdoor AF converter. And if I've got another one of these, I might have just the indoor version. So what this will do is this will take the 48 volt and it will deliver 24 volts out. Now that will run our point-to-point wireless radio. Now we've got everything in cable glands up there, so I'm going to be able to put this into the output with a short lead, and that should run our radio. So I'm going to try running the 48 volt, and what we have there is our 12 volt in Strip these cables back, and that's going to go onto the load side of the switch of the solar charge controller. Now these are going to go into a screw-in DC jack, and I like those because they are much easier to manage than the solder-in type, and you can see your polarity and it's nice and clear. They're easy to replace, they're quick to fit up, and they work well. So from there, we go to a PoE injector. That goes into the power, and that's now going to deliver 48 volts through our flex. I grab an Ethernet cable, plug that into the PoE out, and then into the PoE in of the flex utility. So I'll go upstairs now, plug this in, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so it looks like the flex switch cannot power 2 cameras, an access point, and a radio. I haven't had it actually work yet in powering a radio. So I'm going to run a secondary line, which is going to be just purely our 24 volt, which is a pain in the ass, but what we've got to do. So let's get it made and get it in there and get the network up. Right, time to get back up there. We're going to be a few seconds to see if that's worked. Power beam units there. What we could have is an issue between that PoE switch and, the PoE injector. The micro tick one, if it's not communicating properly. So I'm just going to jump into the unit, like the wireless radio. So Sweetwater is connected, but I haven't got any local Wi-Fi showing up. You're a 48 volt, you're a 48, you're a 48. Might flick on the Starlink. But also I might just switch over to a standard PoE injector instead of using one of those micro tick ones. Okay, so I couldn't get the wireless access point itself to work, but the cameras are working just fine. So that's the priority. I don't have a spare wireless access point here or AC mesh here, so I can't just flick that one on and check that. So we've got camera down here, that's all good. Comms are great, but we've got the camera. So I disconnected the access point so it's not wasting any voltage, and I'll be able to bring another one down when I need to sort it out. So that's it, Sweetwater's back online. The cameras are reporting in, which is good. Gives us our live feed down here. Pretty happy with that. And there's only one camera that's not reporting in on the station. So we're good to go. And that is a failed camera itself. Not that hard to fix. So we'll slip down. That's actually Windetta Spring, so that's just near home. And that's not a terribly big job. So I'm in the car now, just waiting for the Starlink to boot up, and Starlink to boot up before I move, because it logs onto the network quicker if you're in the same spot as where you shut down. So yeah, and now I'm gonna poke on home. It's 10 o'clock. So I'll let you know if anything interesting happens. Cheers.